Deviljho, one of the legendary monsters of Monster Hunter, is definitely one of the scariest for newcomers to Monster Hunter. In all honesty, if they put him in Wild, I would actually be disappointed. Because again, I do think it's time they do give a lot more other monsters their time to shine as invasive Elder Dragon, level monsters. Especially with Arkveld running around in different regions, I think he should be the Deviljho of the game. But with that being said, Deviljho has had many monsters that seem to match it and being able to, well, overpower it. But what about monsters that are a bit more underrated in that department? What about dominant life forms? Things that Deviljho can't prey on. Things that can actually kill Deviljho. So this list is pretty much made up of monsters that are not Elder Dragons themselves, and some of them are Elder Dragon level. As a matter of fact, a large majority may actually be Elder Dragon level to begin with. So be sure to comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. And now let's begin with top 10 monsters that can kill a Deviljho, both base and savage. Number 10, I have the Stormborn Apexes. Yes, the Apexes from Monster Hunter Rise. Now, you might ask yourselves, Legendary, why did you call them that? Why did I call them what? Stormborn Apexes? Oh, let's talk about it. These Apexes are created even by the fact that they not only were fighting in the Ibushi Storm, but we're literally fighting other monsters. So these guys have pretty much graduated to an Elder Dragon level, but their aggression and their fear is so high that they are capable of taking on any other monster, and they're in a constant state of their full power in an evolved state as well. So keep in mind, things like Zinogre, Mizutsune, Rathalos, Diablos, Rathian, Azeros are all in an Elder Dragon level category. Azeros, the bear, the honey-eating bear, is Elder Dragon level. And keep in mind, this was already proven, as when we actually got the greatest spin the block in history, that being Apex Zinogre versus Amatsu. Y'all cannot tell me this was one of the greatest comebacks in history or one of the greatest turf wars ever. And yet again, these Apex monsters are confirmed to be Elder Dragon level. As you guys saw, my little list I made for, top 10 strongest Elder Dragon level monsters. Yeah, they were in the honorable mentions, and they deserve to be as well. Now, keep in mind that these Apexes have their powers, like I said earlier, on a whole nother level. Their powers and abilities literally surpass that of, in all honesty, their versatility would surpass any Elder Dragon level monster. I would definitely have to say that. They are some of the most versatile in the game, in my opinion, in the franchise in general. These Apex monsters literally control the battlefield itself, especially with the likes of Rathian. Now, keep in mind, Apex Rathian is somewhat close to her pink Rathian self. Not in terms of power level, no, but in terms of her poison potency. And this is actually pretty bad for someone like Deviljho. Not only could she leave multiple spikes on the ground, meaning her spikes are actually or likely regenerative as well, but the fact that her poison is pink, and we know that pink Rathians are capable of crippling a Basil Goose. So imagine what all these other monsters have. Rathalos' fire is on a whole nother level. Mizutsune's bubbles, both having the water and fire element within them as well, causing massive damage and devastation to a Deviljho. Joe would get overwhelmed by the sheer versatility, and if not, get weakened repeatedly throughout the fight. Then there's Diablos. Dear God, I would not want him to face an Apex Diablos, because that is Bloodbath reborn, without any of the hunting damage. And the funny part about that is, I still wouldn't want to fight it. That was the most terrifying fight I had. But now, we got to move on to the next monster. Let's talk about one of the dominant life forms in Monster Hunter, that being Duramboros at number 9. Yes, Duramboros, the flying bull himself. I think it's kind of obvious why he would basically be able to kill a Deviljho in combat. And even his desert variant, known as Rust Duramboros, is actually terrifying. Like, its fur, that's covered in blood. Yeah, It's stained with the blood of monsters and even other predators, to the point where even a Tigrex will straight up run from it. So things like Rathians, Sandbarios, Seragioses, and even Deviljhos, which actually have to think about if they want to fight it. Yeah, Rust Duramboros pretty much has it in general. And then just the simple normal Duramboros, it fights against other monsters that should be capable of killing it. But again, a full-grown Duramboros is practically, you know, somewhat unpreyable or unable to be preyed upon by just more than one monster. It's very possible that, again, it may be an Elder Dragon level monster itself, but we do know that Rust Duramboros should definitely be an Elder Dragon level monster, considering the sheer fact that Deviljho is just like, nah, I'm not doing it. And again, this is a Deviljho, something that's able to power slam Diablos, and it's not willing to do it. Plus, by its muscular build and its ecology, Duramboroses are capable of killing the likes of Narcocujas and Zenogres, just in their, you know, regular non-subspecies self. Plus, the tail and the speed that Duramboroses can swing that at, plus its horns, the way it fights, the way it moves. And if you really want to go into like a more natural setting, then yeah, the females live in herds with probably a dominant bull at the head of it, and then obviously the bulls would be much bigger than the females. Meaning Deviljho is just, dude, you better find something else in a heartbeat. Not only would a herd of these guys be a problem, and very possible that Deviljho would just be like, nah, I'm not doing it. But if it tries to 1v1 a bull, like nothing backing it at all, it still has the likely to get killed by it. And even if it doesn't get killed, it's going to expend so much energy and likely wind up with a broken leg. Similar to how T-Rex and Ankylosaurs simply fight. But if you want more details, go ahead and watch this video about me making a Deviljho versus Duramboros video. And I actually do talk about this a bit more in depth here. But yeah, I definitely give the battle to Duramboros more often than not. It just has way too many weapons in a close quarters fight. Now, the Dragon Breath could possibly come into play, but Duramboros could just also just whack Deviljho's jaw and break it if it tries it. So, in all honesty, yeah, I'm gonna really have to say Duramboros could kill Deviljho. Likely in a good fight, but again, it's probably gonna take the large majority of the win. On to the next one. Number 8, we have another dominant life form, that being Gravios. Yes, we have Gravios and Black Gravios, Zenith Gravios. The whole Gravios family would be able to kill Deviljho. And it really should be no surprise as to why. Gravioses have no natural predator other than a freaking Elder Dragon level abomination in a Cantor. Those dudes are just absolutely ridiculous. Now, I know some people might ask, okay, hey, Legendary, quick question. How does Shogun Centaurier get its head? Well, likely from dead Gravioses. Yeah, there's no other way it could really get it other than scavenging, which Centauriers are capable of doing, and I think they kind of prefer it in a little bit of a way. But again, Gravioses are just way too powerful for Deviljho. They have the bulk to beat it down, they have the muscle to overpower it, and they have the long-range capabilities to devastate it. Not to mention its stomach, or is able to secrete gases like sleep, poison, and burn. That's just, dude, that would be too much. I would go and find something else to eat, to be honest. And in all honesty, if Deviljho really tries it and pisses off a Gravios to the point where it beam blasts, I'm gonna feel bad for it. Because we know good and well that might be able to kill a Deviljho, if not straight up injure it to the point where it's not hunting anymore, and it's really going to die of its one major flaw, starvation. I even think this applies to Savage Deviljho as well, as it's definitely not going to be able to produce enough energy or even have the physical strength to fight it, or to fully overpower it. But yeah, Gravios definitely has the number 8 spot on this list, but let's move on to the next one. Obviously, I couldn't have this list without my boy, or girl, Gammoth. Wilds, please bring him back. I can't live without this no more. Him and Najarala, please. But with that being said, come on now. It's Gammoth. we're literally talking about one of the biggest and strongest dominant life forms on this list. Yes, I do think it's stronger than Gravios, like wholeheartedly. It's one of the few intelligent creatures as well, considering the fact that, well, it's a fang beast and it's from the elephant lineage as well. And believe it or not, I do think we need more fang beasts of this lineage than apes, in all honesty. But let's really talk about it, right? Gammoth has no predators once it's fully grown. It even turned its grudge against Tigrex into full-blown hatred. Like, what are you going to do against that? And to be kind of honest, it's also able to fight against Eucanlos. And Eucanlos is the only creature that can prey upon it. But again, they're rare. They're rarely going to do that. And again, Gammoth is going to put up a fight to the where Eucanlos is like, you know what? This ain't even worth the energy, bro. I could have just ate that Lagambi like 5 minutes ago. And again, even if Gammoth loses, that's still a fight. Because again, being an Elder Dragon level monster does not mean you always have to win against an Elder Dragon. You can still damage it. You can still harm it. Plus, the sheer versatility that Gammoth has, the ability to throw snowballs, the ability to basically bend ice, create icicle stone edges, if you will, to trip up Deviljho, and then in a physical confrontation, straight up ram it, if not, get it with its tusks, and then grab it by its neck with its trunk and stuff, lift it, and probably slam it into the ground. It would be interesting if Gammoth had sharper tusks, and we're not even going to begin to talk about an Elder Frost Gammoth. Oh, nah, that's overkill. Even for a Savage Deviljho, that's overkill. But yeah, Gammoth needed to be on this list. First off, we have Lagiacrus, aka Abyssal Lagiacrus. Lagiacrus. But yeah, believe it or not, he's definitely needed to be on this list here. And this is because the ecology of a regular Lagiacrus even states that Deviljho would be like, I don't think I want to fight you, bro. And Lagiacrus probably be like, yeah, you don't. And the thing is, the only way these two can really interact is if Lagiacrus does come up to pretty much rest on the coast for a little bit. And this is something it does normally do. Now you might say, oh, well, isn't it on par with Rathalos in terms of its capabilities? Believe it or not, I do think it is. But it also might be flat out superior to it as well. We don't really see Rathalos try and fight Lagiacrus, more so grab its kill and pretty much just dip. Now in Abyssal Lagiacrus, it's 10 times that of a regular Lagiacrus. And it does come up to the surface, albeit they are rare occasions. But again, it still does. And this is where we have the electrical abilities, amplified to the point where it is fighting against Elder Dragon level threats, or Elder Dragons in general, such as, likely, Adult Globals, the Ancient Serpent, and even the likes of Lagiacrus and Cadeus. It's very possible that it can even eat them as well. Or maybe some juvenile stages of Cadeus and Lagiacrus as well. So it's very possible. However, a Deviljho trying its luck against an Abyssal Lagiacrus is not really gonna end well. If a regular Lagiacrus is capable of making sure a Deviljho doesn't mess with it again, I would definitely say an Abyssal Lagiacrus is likely petty enough to just go for the kill. Probably the same thing with a regular Lagiacrus, but again, the Abyssal variant definitely takes the cake as one of its tougher opponents. Number 5, I got Yian Garuga. Now, this one was definitely an interesting one to put on this list. And I don't think it should be, not considered, or at least not even earn a spot on this list. Yian Garuga is vastly unpredictable, utilizing its literal intelligence and the fact that it can learn from a confrontation. Plus, its sonic capabilities are capable of disorientating Deviljho, which may even work on any brute wyvern in general, considering brute wyverns do rely on their senses a lot more, meaning things like smell, hearing, and sight are likely a big part of what a brute wyvern does in order to hunt. So Yian Garuga exploiting that almost immediately and then learning from its mistakes, it could definitely earn a chance to basically kill a Deviljho. And if you want to say like, oh, what about a Savage Deviljho? Well, you got Scarred Yian Garuga. We know that one's Elder Dragon level as well. So it just fits, And believe it or not, With its ability to learn and adapt its fireball and sonic roar capabilities, yeah, this would be able to definitely kill a Deviljho given the chance. Number 4, I have Brute Tigrex. Now this one, I understand, might be a little controversial, but not only is it in the Guiding Lands, meaning it does compete with some of the higher monsters as well, but the thing is, it's multiple times stronger than a Tigrex, an average Tigrex, mind you. And keep in mind, we know Tigrex can fight against Basilgoose and decently tank its full body explosion and just, kind of just jump back like, dang, dude, what the? Just gonna do to me like that? But again, Brute Tigrex's capabilities of not only manipulating sound, but its far higher aggression, far higher muscle mass or muscle or strength level, excuse me, which is 10 times out of a regular Tigrex, which are known to be some of the strongest flying wyverns out there. And again, we're talking about the flying wyverns in the cat lineage. That's what I usually, call it. And with the fact that, again, it has a much higher sound capabilities. Its lungs allow it to literally rapid fire sound waves at a close range. This is something that definitely harms Deviljho, and with Tigrex likely having, and in all honesty having, a much higher sonic roar capacity to the point where it leaves a boom or a sonic boom, or it's pretty much used as a weapon. Like, imagine your basic roar is still a weapon, capable of knocking out or fainting the hunter or still damaging other monsters. The fact that Deviljho not only relies on its senses, but the fact that Tigrex can easily exploit this just by a casual roar alone means not only is Deviljho getting its eardrums busted, but it could likely get overpowered in this fight, if not outmaneuvered, then overpowered at the same time, considering even a regular Tigrex is more agile, but now with the added muscle mass, Brute Tigrex can not only outmaneuver it, but likely overpower Deviljho as well, getting its stronger bone-crushing jaws on its neck and causing a severe amount of damage. And even for like a savage Deviljho, I still think a Brute Tigrex has a decent chance because, again, it's a much higher level monster, especially with the fact that in the Guiding Lands it has to compete with higher level and higher tier monsters. So believe it or not, overall, Brute Tigrex does get this section on this list, or gets this, number 4 spot, because again, higher muscle mass or higher strength level, easily able to use sonic roars in a rapid fire succession, and stronger bone crushing jaws, and much more agile than the likes of Deviljho. So in all honesty, yeah, he's definitely getting this spot. Right, now we got number 3, Raging Brachydios. Come on, y'all, let's be real. What is Joe doing? Even the Savage Deviljho, what is he doing against Mike Tyson? Alright, this is a fully grown adult male Brachydios with not only the slime mold, but the blaster mold, with a much thicker obsidian shell. Alright, much thicker, much stronger, much more durable, to the point where bone crushing jaws likely no longer matter. You're not getting through that. That is a reinforced shell with a constant blaster mode. And then its final resting place, or its final battle mode, where it pretty much lines up the ground with all of this blaster mode, spreading it out everywhere as if it were nothing. Do you know what Deviljho is about to get? A right hook from him is literally a death sentence. A tail slap is likely the most gentle thing Deviljho is going to feel. But imagine having to actually fight this creature, and you literally have to get hit by these blaster mold punches, and then again with the whole field control. Nah, a Raging Brachydios is putting Deviljho 6,000 feet under. Not 6 feet, 6,000. Bro's going to the Earth core, going to China, and then he's going to go into space at the same time. That is how deep and how brutally a Raging Brachydios is going to be able to punish a Deviljho severely. Bro is going to get in that boxing ring, and he's not leaving with his head. Probably won't even leave at all. Bro's going to be a spirit in the afterlife, and maybe his spirit won't even be able to leave after he's done. At number 2, I have the Ice Cold Air Forces himself, Jind-Han. There is in no way I would be able to argue Deviljho or even a Savage Deviljho winning this. This is a monster that Gormagala and Arkvale would be like, heck no, we out of here. They're not even in the area when he's around. They straight up either go to higher altitudes he cannot reach naturally, or they don't come down until he's like, they're not in the area until he's like back. So pretty much Jind-Han being the apex of the ice shard cliffs has access to anything he wants to eat. And this may even include the likes of Arkvale and Gormagala as well. And the funny part is Gormagala is now known to be a demi-elder, while Arkvale is an elder dragon level monster. Meaning Jind-Han is in a completely different class other than them. I don't even think it would matter if a Savage Deviljho went up against Jind-Han. It would likely grab it, rear itself up, and then power slam it through its own ice. Or power slam it through one of the shards, or power slam it through one of the cliffs, because this thing is just such a menace. Then it's its abilities. It constantly has AoE attacks, able to freeze the limbs and legs, and even harm other monsters that should not have an ice weakness, mind you, to, well, basically kill them. It hunts what it wants. And then its ultimate attack, where it literally drains all the heat from the area and then expels it in a highly destructive flame. Or a highly destructive explosion. So this thing right here is the last monster Deviljho wants to fight. Matter of fact, I think Deviljho might have a heart attack by just seeing it, because it just looks like nightmare fuel. And again, one of my favorite monsters, but yeah, Joe, you're not beating that. Now we have number 1, the champion of trauma, the king of the variants, the lord of the dunes, Bloodbath Diablos. Now let's be real, and let's just do the math. So if if I already argued that a Apex Diablos, which is basically Bloodbath Reborn, already is capable of beating a Deviljho, what is Bloodbath gonna do to him, right? But wait, it gets better. Black Diablos, Miss I'm, so horny that I just need a boyfriend, but again, they gotta be worthy of me, so I'm just gonna make them work for it, right? Yeah, here's the funny thing. We only get turf wars, with Savage Deviljhos. Meanwhile, a regular Deviljho is like, heck no, I'm not fighting her. Probably because of the testosterone levels. But a Bloodbath Diablos, which is an absolute demon, the sonic roars, the sand manipulation, the burrowing capabilities, its size and power, there is no Deviljho that's going to stop that. Maybe for Heavenly King and Starving is just, a tiny bit maybe. But for the ones we're talking about here, yeah, there's no chance. Bloodbath takes this number 1 spot because of how much of a pain he's going to be, how much trauma he's going to induce on Deviljho, how much, just how much, how fast he might kill him too. Because of the level of aggression this Diablos does not play, it goes for the kill almost immediately. And in all honesty, it's a justifiable crash out. So believe it or not, that's going to be all today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe, and share it with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day.